here with a little bit more hope than when we walked in. So, in this session, our guests will help us reflect on the power of spirituality to build healthy communities. To begin our time, I would like to welcome our distinguished guest, Director of the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Reverend Dr. Q. English works closely with the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. A coalition builder and a network strategist, Reverend Dr. English joined HHS from the state of New York, where she served as the Deputy Director of Faith-Based Initiative for the Governor's Office of Faith and Community Development Services. A grassroots person at heart, Dr. English founded the first people of color and survivor-led organization formed to combat human trafficking and domestic violence, Not on My Watch. So, please help me welcome Reverend Dr. Q. English.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you for investing your time in this important conversation around health and faith. I first want to acknowledge Vice President Jessica Felix Romero, as well as the Sojourner's Sojo Action Political Director, Lauren Relaford, and its Campaigns and Mobilizing Director, Sandy Ovalle. As was mentioned, my name is Reverend Dr. Q. English, and it is my honor and privilege to lead the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, housed within the United States Department of Health and Human Services within the federal government in Washington, D.C. So at the Partnership Center, we focus on 5 key program areas. One is mental health, with a focus on youth mental health, suicide prevention, engaging faith and community leaders broadly on public health, substance use disorder and harm reduction, and maternal health. In support of these focus areas, we have produced several toolkits and guides for faith and community. We have a substance use disorder toolkit, a youth mental health toolkit, a faith and action on maternal health guide that was just released, and a suicide prevention guide for youth in partnership with SAMHSA and the National Action Alliance for Suicide Prevention. And these are readily available on our website. On maternal health, I hope you can join us for the panel later today where we will talk about this critical subject. So what is true in all these areas we focus on and across the work of the department is that spirituality and faith contribute to health and well-being. Within these efforts and extending beyond them, the center works in collaboration with any and all of the 27 offices and agencies that makes up Health and Human Services to extend the reach and impact of HHS-related programs into communities. And through our center, we celebrate the role of faith and community partners, which includes recognizing the contributions that spirituality can make to health and well-being for many. For instance, we were recently asked by the National Institute of Health to speak to their research community about the value and importance of addressing spirituality through partnerships with faith communities. But it's not just us in the center that recognizes the role of spirituality in contributing to wellness. Our other divisions areas do as well. From SAMHSA to the folks at Healthy People 2030, addressing social determinants of health, faith, spirituality, and the role of faith communities in supporting these areas are being recognized and celebrated at HSS for the first time. Another example, in a report by the National Center for PTSD at the United States Department of Veterans Affairs titled Addressing Religious or Spiritual Dimensions of Trauma and PTSD, they stated that given that trauma often leads to a need to find meaning, and that spirituality often provides such a meaning system in people's lives, it follows that trauma can introduce a need to recognize difficult events with beliefs. It went on to say that spirituality can be helpful when a positive relationship to one's own beliefs and practices buffer the effects of a trauma and provide a source of comfort during these times of distress. So we're seeing more and more throughout our federal government embracing spirituality and faith in health-related conversation. So I'm going to stop there because I have more to say, but I look forward to participating in the conference with you all. Thank you.